What up, guys? I told you I was gonna make that YouTube channel, didn't I? Well, here I am. Hi, my name's Ashley, and I'm here to help control my rants. The rants and raves that I could do could last a lifetime, but instead of doing that, I'm going to slow it down by doing like a story time video today. Just do like multiple short stories kind of thing, like maybe 3. We'll see how far that goes. Really, this is like 62 takes later. It took me all day yesterday and all night last night to really figure out how to work my camera. Even though I've had the thing for years, I can't seem to get around it. So I'm really new to YouTube, obviously. This is my first video for my channel, and everything is just a learning curve for me, and I'm self-taught. So bear with me as I make adjustments and make this channel the best possible channel it can be for myself. I'm going to vlog about twice a week, so hopefully you'll tune in. Just as a quick status, you know, I've worked night shift the last year and a half or so. I'm really tired all the time, and it's really hard to kind of adjust to day life. I got all this natural light coming in. I want to get that on my face, and I want to share stuff with you guys. I want to, you know, kind of grow and see where this goes. The YouTube community has always been so big in my life, and I want to be a part of it now. I look up to YouTubers all the time, and I'm watching you guys daily. I look up to everybody from Loey Lane, Matthew Santoro, Dashi. Like, you guys are my peeps in every way. You don't know I exist yet, but I'm going to make it big. I'm going to try my damnedest, because I'm not going to regret not trying, that's for sure. I can't even forget Mr. Creepypasta or Chills. Like, those guys are what motivates me to want to do story times, as well as Loey. She does really good ones. So today, like I said, I'm going to read to you a couple of short stories. I found a subreddit that I want to read from. It's just like short stories, and we're going to see how they go. I can't promise that they'll be like as extraordinarily scary or anything, but we're gonna try to see what happens. So bear with me, and let's get the show on the road, guys. Let's go. Okay, guys, grab your drinks, your coffee, your cocoa, whatever you want, your blanket, get snuggled up on your couch, on your bed, and let's read some scary stories. I found the subreddit called "What is the creepiest, most blood-chilling thing you or someone you know have ever experienced?" And we are going to try this one. About 10 years ago, I took my dog out for a short walk. We lived in a run-down but historic part of old houses that are either beautifully maintained, abandoned, or generally going to crap. There was going to be a good mix of people in that neighborhood. Anyway, walking the dog, I get about 3 or 4 houses down and stop at the corner while Pony sniffs out some grass or whatever. I turn around and suddenly there's a man standing way too close to me, no idea where he came from. I'm usually very aware of my surroundings, and Pony hated strange men. I stumbled a few steps back. I immediately had this absolute bone-chilling sick feeling. He asked me, "Is that a pit bull?" And I replied, "Yes." Then he said, "Oh, she'll protect you." At this point, my body flooded with adrenaline, and I turned to run back to my house. I saw my mom standing on the porch and thought to yell to her. She had no reason to come out to the porch. I honestly think she had a bad feeling. I don't know what good me yelling really did, but it was all I could think to do. Like, "Hey, look, I'm over here." I never had such a flight response before or since that encounter. Which is true. I've had, like, weird people come up to me and just be insanely awkward or incredibly creepy. Like, I just had an experience like trying to just get a salad, and somebody is just like all up in my business and won't like go away no matter what. It's like super freaking creepy. Like, even when I'm like, yeah, thank you, goodbye now, and then they just keep going. Anyway, next story. When I was about 6 or 7, we had this neighbor that would regularly try to invite me over for cake and candy or to play with the dogs he owned. My parents didn't trust him, so of course invites were declined. Years later, we learned that he regularly raped his 12-year-old stepdaughter and got her pregnant. When he went to trial, it was revealed that there were about 4 other young girls in his past that he had abused. The guy used to decorate his house like a haunted mansion every Halloween, and kids would go crazy for it. I'm so glad my parents wouldn't allow me to go there. That is insane. Wow, I'm so sorry that this person had to experience that. When I was 16, my parents went out of town for the weekend. It was actually pretty sweet because I got to be the king of the castle for the weekend. So I get home that Friday night and just crapped around, internet, video games, whatever, and started watching TV around dusk. The way our living room was set up was that there was a set of glass doors right next to the television that looked out to be the back porch or backyard, and the backyard was surrounded by ivy that grew on the hill around a 45-degree angle. So I'm just mindlessly channel surfing when I see some movement outside. At first, I just dismiss it, thinking it's a bird or a neighborhood cat or something. But then I notice that whatever is moving is way bigger than a bird or cat. I go to put my face near the glass, and stare into the backyard, and there's just some dude crouching in the ivy looking into our house. Our eyes meet, and he somewhat has an "oh crap" moment and bolts out of our yard. Scared the crud out of me, and I'm all like, yeah, of course. That would scare the crap out of me too. Shoot. I haven't had anyone look in my doors or my windows per se, though there is this one time, when I was at my mother's friend's house, and we were sitting at the kitchen table and they were just talking and we were having coffee, and I looked to their sliding door or whatever, and it was fogged over in just the right way that I thought there was a face looking in at the window, and for the life of me I couldn't look away, and I was just all like, guys, I think there's somebody looking at me. And I think I stood there for a half hour, and she went and checked everything and it was all good, but it freaked me out. I see faces way too often. My mom had a stalker for years. She was maybe in her early 30s. I was about 3 and my brother was 1 when this started. My dad would leave for work in the morning, and as soon as he was gone, the calls would start coming in. She'd answer the phone, and some guy would be saying all this horribly sadistic and sexual things about what he wanted to do to my mom. She was beyond frightened and didn't know what to do. Sometimes the caller would describe what she was wearing at that very minute, or describe what she was doing. My parents were struggling financially, so they couldn't just up and move, but my mom started spending more and more time at my dad's mother's house when he was away. The cops got involved, but they couldn't trace the call. Finally, they were able to save up enough money to move. I was 6 by this time. The phone number was changed and unlisted in the phone book. I never got another scary call, but she had nightmares about it for years. When I was little, I remember going into her bedroom into the morning and she would be sobbing into her pillow. I didn't understand it at that point, but she explained later in life that she'd wake up from a nightmare and just shake and cry. A couple of months after we moved, the cops informed us that they finally caught the guy. It was our next-door neighbor's 19-year-old son. He had been in the military but was discharged due to severe mental illness. I guess he was put into some sort of special security home that specializes in mental health. The lead investigator said that the son was obsessed with my mother and that they found a box in his room full of a bunch of photographs candidly taken of her when she was out in the garden or playing with us kids in the yard. It chills me to the bone when I think about it now. Anything could have happened to my mother when my dad was at work, and I'd be too young to help her. Which kind of sounds like that movie with Jennifer Lopez. I saw it in theaters, and I can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's literally that exact same plot, except that she does do stuff with the guy next door who's really young. Anyway, we'll do one more. On April 18th of this year, I came home from work and began working on some homework. After 30 minutes of homework, my aunt entered my mother's room and began screaming hysterically, ordering me to call 911. Once I was on the line with the operator, she asked what the nature of my emergency was. I didn't quite know, so I entered my mother's bedroom to find her dead of a heart attack and laying face down on the floor, wedged between her nightstand and her bed. The operator dispatched the paramedics and instructed me on how to perform CPR. In order to do so, I had to flip my mother onto her back, and when I grabbed my mother's cold, lifeless arm, I realized that she couldn't be moved as she was wedged firmly between her bed and her nightstand, and rigor mortis had already set in. I was unable to flip her over and had never seen or touched a dead body before. After the paramedics came and told me that nothing could be done, the medical examiner informed my family that she couldn't be seen as she had been laying on her face for too long. It assumed by my family that she hit her head on the way down as her dentures were on the floor beside her. The combination of her head trauma and the fact that she had been dead for many hours had rendered her unviewable, as deemed by the officer from the medical examiner's office. To answer your question, the sight and feeling of my mother's deceased body is the most chilling thing I have ever seen. Her memorial is this Sunday. Edit. I really appreciate the condolences and heart-filled messages you sent me. I'm proud to have had a great support network outside of the internet full of people who have put themselves out there for me. I just started my move into my new home and will be sleeping there for the second time tonight. My new home is a spare bedroom of an old music teacher of mine. After his daughter and grandson moved out, I've been fortunate enough to be offered the room free of charge to live in. This is an amazing opportunity, especially for a college student whose job only offers 20 hours a week. I hope to only be able to repay him for what he and his wife have done for me. That is, like, incredibly sad, and, you know, this just goes to show you, love on your parents as much as possible, or your family, or whoever you really care about. Make sure they get their hugs and their kisses, and tell them how much you love them every day. And that's what I do. I smother my fiance with lots of hugs and kisses, and tell him I love him at least 50,000 times a day to make sure he's annoyed by it. Because you never know when the last time it'll be that you'll say it to them, so make sure to do that. For me, creepy experiences are like all the time. Not as much anymore, but I would definitely say more growing up. I would hear things bump in the night all the time. But my family particularly had this like instance where we had like cat ghosts walking around all the time. We actually had a photograph. I wish I still had it, but with all of my moving in the last decade or so, and even before that, the pictures, you know, ended up ruined by like mold or whatever. So, but we had a picture of my grandma who was sitting here like just talking with my grandpa or whatever, and you can just see this like cloud of smoke going over her face with like cat ears and then like fangs in the front. And it was like the coolest thing. Like, my grandma is like a smoker and stuff, and you see the ashtray, but she wasn't smoking at the time the picture was taken. I think like my aunt or my uncle took the picture of her, but she wasn't smoking. And you could see there's no cigarette, no one else is smoking, it's just us, you know, came like this. And I think I do have another photo of the same cat that had passed away like very recently in timeline with those pictures being taken, so I don't know, kind of creepy, kind of cool, honestly. So, yeah. Anyway, if you liked my video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment below. Have you had any creepy experiences yourself? Do you have weird, you know, experiences with people coming up and looking in your windows, or being all cringeworthy and you just want to look away real quick, or anything like that? Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can keep updated with me. I will be vlogging every Tuesday and Friday. You know, thank you again for stopping by and seeing what I've got to offer. Hopefully this will come out looking way better than I think it's going to. And we'll see you again on Friday. Till then, bye!